stop. Take a look at this skull for a second. In an animated film like Toy Story 3, somebody has to build every single thing you see on the frame. And it's not just one somebody, it's a whole lot of somebodies. First of all, somebody had to come up with the idea that there's even a skull in this frame. Then somebody in story had to draw it and place it here. The art department had to draw up the plans and handed it to a modeler who built it in the computer. Great as that model looks, it still isn't complete until it's shaded and then lit. And this is just one object that appears in 51 frames. That's just over 2 seconds of a 93-minute film. 139,680 frames, all full of things like this skull. But most of those things are actually animated. This film took hundreds and hundreds of people, all gathered together behind one central vision.
I was the first person onto this movie, and I will be the last person off at the bitter end. But in the middle, there are a lot of really, really talented people, and I couldn't make this movie without them.
We wanted to start the movie out with a bang. We wanted to start it out with a really exciting action-adventure worthy of these characters. It's been a long time since we've seen them.
I did the color script for the film. A color script is a series of paintings to describe how color, lighting, and atmosphere can support the story.
I helped decide the lighting for this sequence. We were going for an over-the-top Western style, lots of beautiful oranges and vibrant blue skies.
For Western opening, we wanted to design simple, monumental buttes and a big, big sky.
I thought it would be fun to actually take cues from the wallpaper in Andy's bedroom and create very realistic-looking clouds, but styling them to echo very much the wallpaper in Andy's bedroom.
I painted hundreds of clouds for this sequence.
I animated the potato heads on their getaway, enjoying the loot in the car.
I did a simulation of coins filling the trunk of the car and flowing through the hands of characters.
I lit this shot. The challenge was you don't really see the Buzz Lightyear flying from the sun in the daily life. So I used my imagination to light the shot.
The laser isn't too complicated, it's just a red tube that I made glow. The effects department creates anything that moves that the animation department doesn't take care of. For example, dust, which would be too hard for the animation department to do.
I've done a lot of dust in my career. I made this dust right here.
So this is where I held on the board just a bit too long to give it a little cartoon physics so the characters hang in the air before they fall.
My job was to decide where to put the camera and which angle will best tell the story. In this shot, I put the camera low so that it would appear that Buzz, Woody, and Jessie were in control of the situation.
Reach for the sky!
Most of the dialogue in this sequence is referencing dialogue from the original Toy Story.
Reach for the sky!
So that you'd get the sense that Andy played similar games all through his childhood.
With Mrs. Potato Head's nunchucks, we have to decide what they are. Where do they come from? Are they wood with a steel chain? How do they behave? Someone's going to design them, someone's going to build them, and then animate them. So this, even on the smallest level, there's all these little design choices that have to be made.
I animated all the characters in this sequence, but the hardest character would be Mrs. Potato Head because she does this awesome nunchuck move, and we wanted it to look like a Bruce Lee move, but it's really hard to make a potato head look like Bruce Lee.
Right at 12, Lee likes to eat lunch, and so we make sure that it's up in his office and that he can just take a break and eat.
Mostly eat the same thing every day. He likes a grilled chicken, sometimes in the form of a sandwich, but always a steamed broccoli. He loves steamed broccoli.
I did the storyboards of Slinky coming down the mountain. We wanted it to feel bigger than life, this sort of big robot monster dog coming down the mountain to get into the fight with Jessie, Buzz, and Woody.
Slinky's different because you have the two parts, and the Slinky itself in the middle feels like a third character. So you're not just having one character act and do its thing. You're actually having three parts work together as a whole.
This is the force field. It's kind of a little sphere, which is actually not that hard to do, but you'll notice there's little bits of electricity all the way around. So that was a little bit tricky. But then I ended up creating this, what's known as a Voronoi diagram, to create these patterns and distorted them to make them look like electrical bolts. Essentially, I just drew a bunch of lines.
In the storyboards, when Jessie yodels, we always started with a close-up of her uvula wiggling in the back of her throat, and we kind of pulled back from there as the shock wave kind of spread out from her. But of course, Jessie, the cowgirl, the toy, has no uvula, which kind of bums me out a bit because I kind of like uvulas.
I did the effect of the explosive shock wave caused by Jessie's yodel.
In Andy's mind, Rex is a real ferocious dinosaur, but Rex's personality, of course, is that he's very timid.
So this is a fun opportunity to play Rex against his personality type and actually animate him like a real dinosaur.
I added the effects of Rex bursting up through the ground, all the rocks and the dust and the debris.
So the cool thing about this is it had to be an airplane, a spacecraft, and a battleship all rolled into one in the shape of a pig.
So the production designer wanted to see things that you would see on real airplanes or real spaceships, that there needed to be vents, there needed to be access panels, there needed to be a sense of how this thing was actually built in real life, even though it's a pig ship.
I worked on the hoof thrusters, basically the plasma and heat coming out of the bottom of the feet of the pig ship.
Well, to get the sound of the pig ship, we recorded the subway and then added in the sound of the recording studio sliding glass door.
In order to keep the clouds from looking static, I added a little bit of cloud drift so that they were moving throughout the shot.
I thought it'd be really cool use of camera if we just flew into the eye of the ham ship to reveal evil Dr. Porkchop.
I designed the lighting of the shot, and this lens flare over here helped me transition the lighting from the outside into the cockpit.
After all this great work at Pixar, we still have to get the composer to score the film, Skywalker to do the sound effects and mix the movie, make film prints at the lab so we can bring the movie to your local theater, and translate into 42 different languages.
These films are so huge, they actually don't work perfectly on paper. What really gets them done is the incredible collaboration and teamwork with the artists and the managers that get behind the director's vision and make it happen. It's a gorgeous thing to watch.